Hi, welcome to day 2 of the Briamar Bag Sew Along. Today we are going to be making the front pocket and attaching the top panel. First thing we're going to do is go over the pieces we will need today to complete those tasks. We will need our top panel. We will need an 8-inch zipper and a pull if you do not already have a zipper with a pull attached. We will need our front pocket lining. We'll need our panel A. This is the exterior. Now that we have those pieces established, let's do some marking on these pieces. For our 8-inch zipper, I want you to put just a center marking on the top and the bottom. So 4 inches in. For our top panel piece, I want us on the right side to put a center marking, and then on the sides 1 inch up, I want you to put a mark there on this side. Make sure you can see this. 1 inch up, I want you to put a mark on this side. On the back, I go ahead and put center markings. I just draw a line straight down the center, so I have those as well. Now we're going to set our top panel piece aside. We are not using it currently, so we'll set it aside. On our lining piece, we are going to turn it over, and on the wrong side along the 8-inch edge, we are going to draw a line 3/4 of the way down. I'm also going to put a center mark at the top, center mark at the bottom. You can see on mine that I already have a strip of double-sided tape at the bottom. I will remind you to do this again, but just in case you are curious. On our exterior panel, we are going to measure down 1/2 inch from the top. Remember, the notches denote the top. So 1/2 inch down, you're either going to draw a line or put a line of double-sided tape. This will not be seen once we finish our front pocket, so you do not have to worry about using like a friction marker or anything like that. You can use whatever to mark this line. If you wanted to, you could do a center marking on the top and a center marking, which I do not, on the bottom. So that is the markings we will be doing to complete these steps. Let's go ahead and start now with getting our zipper pull attached. I'm not going to go in depth on this. There are plenty of YouTube videos that explain this, so I'm just going to go kind of quickly. Whenever we're attaching a zipper pull, we are going to be attaching it with the top, the front, whichever way you want to say it, and that is the tapered edge. I pick up my zipper tape, I separate it, I notice which side the top tooth is over. You won't be able to see that clearly, but you know how these zipper in, one tooth is always going to be over the other. In this case, it is on this side. I simply take the top and I just feed that right in. That side goes in easily. Now this other side goes in a little trickier. I take it, angle, insert it at an angle. I go to my top view there and kind of look down and try to get those even. And then I push them both simultaneously until I feel a little snap, a little click. Once I do that, I wrap it around my one finger and then just pull on my zipper pull. It's not perfect. You have to take some practice with it, but that is how you do it. Now, we are going to go ahead and baste our zipper onto our exterior. First thing I'll be doing is I'll be removing my double-sided tape, or if you don't have that, you can just line it up with your line. With my exterior right side up, I'm going to place my zipper tape right side down with the pull closing to the right. I'm going to just center it on here. If you want to check that center marking, you can, but honestly, it'll fit flush with the sides. So as long as you make sure your sides are flush, you're perfectly fine. I'm a little bit of trouble getting that tape to fit perfectly. I apologize. There we go. I am just going to baste this. So when I'm basting, I'm just doing 1/8 of an inch. I'm not even going to worry so much about locking in the stitches because I know I'm going to come back with my lining in just a minute. As I get close to that zipper pull, I don't want it warping my tape, so I'm going to pull it out of the way. I need to adjust that just a little bit. My tape is now basted on. I'm going to take my zipper lining, turn it so that it is right sides down, and that I have the top edge with my 3/4 of a line at the top. I'm going to simply align it. I will take a clip or two just to put in place. You want to make sure your edges are flush. You should be perfectly in line there. Everything should line up. Your top and your sides. You'll feel that zipper head there, and that'll be bulky and pushing around away. So we will stitch directly on this line we drew. And when we get to that pull, we'll move it out of the way. Since this is my permanent stitching, I will use the full seam allowance, which is 3/8. Now, you're sewing directly on that line, so it'll be a little bit over that. So, but I will lock in my stitches, but basically you're sewing right up against those teeth. Lift up your foot, but keep your needle down. Move your pull out of the way, taking care not to pull it too far off because we have not basted the ends of this tape. If that makes you nervous, you can baste them, but I didn't. So just make sure you don't pull the zipper pull off or you will have to reattach it. That is on. And there is my zipper pull with my zipper on it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to orientate this like this. Exterior up, lining up. Now I'm going to flip this entire assembly over. So when we flip it over, if you can see right here, my zipper is wrong side against my table. That's the way we want it. Now I'm going to grab a piece of double-sided tape and I'm going to attach it right here above my stitching. And this is not necessary, but it does help everything to lay flat, so I do use this. I simply take the seam of my vinyl or my exterior and I just push it down. When I push that down, that causes my zipper tape to flip up. So now it is right side against my table. Okay, get that in place there. I'm going to get another piece of double-sided tape. And now I'm going to lay this tape directly below my stitch line here on my lining. Now before I take off that tape, I want to show you this so that you can see it two separate times. Your tendency is going to want to just flip this down. That is wrong. Do not do that. Get your thumbs and flip this entire thing over. You see how I'm pulling it up? And this seam is going to be right in that edge there. This is the step that creates that unique front pocket. I'm going to push that seam up and then this will become my new top edge. So you can even kind of crease that, make sure everything lines up real nice and neat. Now that I kind of understand that concept, we're going to show it one more time. So let's look here from both sides. Exterior is down, lining is down. This is what we see from the front. Flip it back over. I'm going to take my double-sided tape off. I'm going to push my thumbs right in that. See how it's standing up right there? I'm going to continue to flip this entire assembly over. When I'm pushing this, I'm making sure that seam is staying right up in there. You can even peek through your corners and make sure. You're going to make sure your edges are flush. Crease that really nicely. Again, I can peek. Everything is one. This one needs to be pushed up just a little more. Now, we're going to top stitch along this top edge. But before we do that, the pattern tells us that we need to only stitch, we don't stitch across the entire piece, we just stitch a portion of it. Get out your ruler and measure in from each side 1.5 inches. I do not put a mark here because this would be seen once my bag is completed. What I do is I simply just put a clip here. You can use a friction marker, chalk, whatever you feel safe with. Just know that it does need to come out. Again, on this side, 1.5 inches in, I put my clip. And now I'm simply going to top stitch along 1/8 of an inch, right on this top edge. And I'm also going to lengthen my stitch length since I'm working with vinyl and mine is just a little bit sticky. I do not leave my threads long and pull them to the back and tie them off. I just back stitch once. If that is something that bothers you, you can definitely do that other technique. It just doesn't bother me. So now what I'm going to do is take that double-sided tape that I had attached to the bottom. I'm going to remove it and then I'm going to attach it to the underside, the wrong side of the zipper. Now we do have a center mark there on our tape. We do have a center mark here on our lining, so we can match those up evenly. And also remember that it should be perfectly flush on your edges and at your top, so it should be a perfect fit. Again, we are going to baste this 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to sew it just like this so I can watch everything line up perfectly. If you want, you can peek in to make sure that your zipper is working properly with both linings the right sides together there. Okay. So now that we got this, we're going to grab our top panel. If you remember, we already have the marks on the bottom. I know you can't see my marks. I do apologize, but there was just no way to get them to show better. So anyway, here is my center mark. Here is my 1 inch, 1 inch. This is my bottom. This is my top. I'm going to orientate this to where my bottom is now at the top, and that is just for the ease of showing you how I attach this. Okay. Now you can put a strip of double-sided tape here. I'm not going to, but you can do that as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and just simply flip it right up here. So you can see, making a sandwich with the zipper right side against the exterior. Matching up those center marks. Clip there. Clip here. I'm going to check my sides to make sure everything is neat before I take this to the machine. This side looks good. You can see it's pretty flush. This side's a little too close in, so I'm going to adjust that a little bit. I'm going to take these off and just make sure that lines up a little bit better. It was a little off. Okay. Could be that my cutting was off, could be that my measuring was off, no matter. Okay, now I'm just going to do a little bit of a common sense check and make sure that all looks right, and it does. I just want to make sure I had it orientated correctly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this entire piece over, and I'm going to sew from this view. I'm going to be sewing it a little backwards so that you guys can see it properly, but just know that you are sewing with your full 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to be riding right up against the teeth of this. Of my zipper teeth, so my foot is going to go right up against my zipper teeth. Since this is my not just a basting stitch, I am going to lock in my stitches on both sides. When I get close to that pull, I'm going to move it out of the way. Look this over, make sure, everything's looking great. Now I want to top stitch. So I'm going to take this seam, it's going to go up, but I'm going to keep my lining down. Smooth that out. Lengthen my stitch length again. Take it back over here to the machine. My foot's getting up that I can just squeak by that zipper pull on this part without having to move it. Okay, that top stitching is done. Next step is, let's take this corner and pull it up to that 1 inch mark you made. Again, you're not going to be able to see mine, but you know it's there. I'm just going to put a clip right here. Well, no, not either. Let's try that again. 1 inch, pull it up. On the other side, again, 1 inch, pull it up. This will be what keeps your zipper pull from falling off. It will not be able to get past these stitches. So now I have that. I am only going to top stitch along this top edge until I meet my existing top stitching right here. So from here to here, I'm going to lock in these stitches, even though this will be covered up later. We're going to do that here on this side. We're going to come over here and do the same thing. Top stitch this portion just until they meet and close up that zipper so it will not fall off. You are going to make sure that your exterior's down. See what we're doing here? almost done. We have a fully functional pocket, except we got to close up these sides. So we're going to do that really quickly. We are just going to do 1/4 of an inch stitching from the bottom to the top. We are going to sew over the zipper teeth just a little, but we're going to make sure that we don't come up past them and start showing stitches over here. Okay? We're going to do that on both sides too, of course. And that will be all our steps for today. Let's get that going. Flip it around. So the exterior is not in the way. Back stitch there. I'm going to slow down just a little. Got that going. No stitches showing. Flip it over the other side again. Back stitch. Come up to those zipper teeth over. And now I have my front pocket and top panel completely done. My zipper pull will not come off. Everything is stitched and closed, and voila, day 2 tasks are completed. So what you will do now is just post a picture of your completed front pocket with top panel underneath day 2 post in our Facebook event, and this will keep you in for the contest to win a free pattern by Bumbleroot Design. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or concerns, please comment on this video or in the group, and I will definitely help you go through those steps. Thanks.